I think it's the power of the brand.
Being on the product and the value it can give you.
It indicates the success of the product.
It's about a blueprint.
What is brand equity? Branding has been around for centuries as a means to distinguish the goods of one producer from those of another. The earliest signs of branding in Europe were the medieval guilds' requirement that craftspeople put trademarks on their products to protect themselves and their customers against inferior quality. The role of brands. Consumers may evaluate the identical product differently depending on how it is branded. They learn about brands through past experiences with the product and its marketing program, finding out which brands satisfy their needs and which do not. So, how do you brand a product? Although firms provide the impetus to brand creation through marketing programs and other activities, ultimately a brand resides in the minds of consumers. Marketers need to teach consumers who the product is by giving it a name and other brand elements to identify it, as well as what the product does and why consumers should care. Defining brand equity. A brand has positive customer based brand equity when consumers react more favorably to a product and the way it is marketed when the brand is identified. A brand has negative customer based brand equity if consumers react less favorably to marketing activity for the brand under the same circumstances. Brand equity models. Energized differentiation, relevance, STEAM, and knowledge are pillars of brand equity according to Brand Asset Valuator. Consumers are concentrating their devotion and purchasing power on an increasingly smaller portfolio of special brands with energized differentiation that keep evolving according to BAV's analysis. These brands connect better with consumers, commanding greater usage loyalty and pricing power and creating greater shareholder value. Brand Dynamics Pyramid. Brand Z marketing research consultants Millward Brown and WPP developed the Brand Z model of brand strength, which is the Brand Dynamics Pyramid. According to this model, brand building follows a series of steps. Bonded consumers at the top of the pyramid build stronger relationships with and spend more on the brand than those at lower levels. There are more consumers at the lower levels, so the challenge for marketers is to help them move up. Brand Resonance Pyramid. According to this model, enacting the four steps means establishing a pyramid of six brand building blocks, as illustrated in this figure. The model emphasizes the duality of brands. The rational route to building is on the left side of the pyramid, and the emotional route is on the right side. Creating significant brand equity requires reaching the top of the brand pyramid, which occurs only if the right building blocks are put into place.
Let's talk about the three steps in building brand equity. First is selecting the brand elements. These are devices which can be trademarked that identify and differentiate the brand. And there are six choice criteria. First is being memorable. Having short names such as Tide, Crest, and Zoom are easy to recall. Next is being meaningful. A brand element should be meaningful, wherein the inherent meaning of the brand should be considered, like healthy options and energizer. A brand element should also be likable, like Kinder Surprise, Twitter, and Pinterest, through their aesthetic appeal and or trendy memes. Next is transferable. These brands have successfully shifted from their old industry or carried more products than they originally intended to do while maintaining their brand. Another is being adaptable or updatable. Just like Betty Crocker, who has received 7 makeovers in 87 years, Walt Disney's logo has been regularly updated to keep up with the trend. Next is protectable. Jello, Xerox, and Scotch tape, which are synonymous with product categories, should retain their trademark rights so as not to become generic. And in developing brand elements, brand names and slogans are extremely efficient means to build brand equity and can serve as hooks to help consumers grasp what the brand is and what makes them special. The next step is designing holistic activities. As a marketer, one must design holistic activities and not rely on advertising alone. As defined, there should be brand contact, which is any information bearing experience such as trade shows, factory visits, and even sponsorships. Mountain Dew targeted the coveted yet fickle-minded age group of 12 to 24 years old by creating sport competitions such as skateboarding. Combining these marketing activities to maximize the individual and collective effects is called integrated marketing. Now we go to the third step, which is leveraging secondary associations. It is to build brand equity is by linking the brand to other information in memory that conveys meaning to customers. Brand associations can link the brand to countries, channels of distribution, the company itself, or some other third parties. And talking about internal branding, it consists of activities and processes that help inform and inspire employees about brands. When employees care for and believe in their brand, they are motivated to work harder and feel greater loyalty to the firm. A perfect example is what they do in Disney called the Disney style. Some important principles of which include choosing the right moment, linking internal and external marketing, and bringing the brand alive for employees. And the last would be brand communities. A brand community is a specialized community of consumers and employees whose identification and activities focus around the brand. Things to consider are the consciousness of kind, shared rituals, stories, and traditions.
Measuring and managing brand equity. Metrics are an integral part of the brand strategy process. Indirect approach assesses potential sources of brand equity by identifying and tracking consumer brand knowledge structures. Direct approach assesses the actual impact of the brand knowledge on consumer response to different aspects of the marketing. Brand value chain is a structured approach to assessing the sources and outcomes of brand equity and the way marketing activities create brand value. Brand value chain helps marketers track brand value from the first stage of market investment to the final stage of shareholders' value. Brand audit is a consumer-focused series of procedures to assess the health of the brand, uncover its sources of brand equity, and suggest ways to improve and leverage its equity. Marketers should conduct a brand audit when setting up marketing plans and when considering shift and strategic direction. Brand tracking studies collect quantitative data from consumers over time to provide consistent baseline information about how brands and marketing programs are performing. They are means of understanding where, how much, and in what ways brand value is being created to facilitate the day-to-day decision. Brand valuation is the total financial value of the brand. Brand value is typically over half the total company market capitalization. Like Coca-Cola, the marketing capitalization including brand value is 120 billion US dollars. Excluding the brand value, the market capitalization will only be 50 billion US dollars. Top brand firm Interbrand has developed a model called Interbrand Valuation to formally estimate the dollar value of a brand. The firm believes marketing and financial analysis are equally important in determining the value of the brand. Effective brand management requires a long-term view of marketing actions. Consumer response to marketing actively depends on what they know and remember about the product. And brand reinforcement. Brand equity is reinforced by marketing actions that consistently convey the meaning of the brand in terms of what product the brand represents, what core benefit it supplies, and what needs it satisfies. How the brand makes products superior, strong, favorable, and unique brand associations should exist in the minds of the consumer. Reinforcing brand equity requires that the brand always be moving forward in the right direction. Brand revitalization. Keeping up with the changes in consumer tastes and preferences. First, understand the sources of brand equity, where to begin with. Then decide whether to retain the.
Devising a branding strategy depends on what the firm wants to do. But first, what is a branding strategy? It is often called as branding architecture. Like what you see in the screen, it is composed of a structure of brands or products at its different level. Now, when you decide for a branding strategy, you can apply some of its existing brand elements, you can develop new brand elements, or you can do a combination of both. Generally, there are three strategies. First is the corporate umbrella or company brand name. It is the use of corporate brand across entire range of products, like FedEx. The second one is the individual or separate family brand names, or it is the branding of different products with different brand names, like P&G. They have Tide, they have Downy, they have Oral-B, and etc. And the third one is the sub-brand name or hybrid branding. It is a combination of two or more of the corporate brand, family brand, or individual product brand names, like the Coca-Cola Company. There are two key components of branding strategy that we also need to know. First is the brand portfolios. This is the set of all brands and brand lines a firm offers for sale in a particular category or market segment, normally to maximize market coverage but minimize brand overlap. Example of this is the world's largest brandy company, Emperador. They have a wide-ranging brand of products under the market segment of alcoholic spirits. These brands play a number of specific roles. It can be a cash cow, it can be a flanker, a low-end entry level, or a high-end prestige. The second component is the brand extension. This is where firms introduce a host of new products under their strongest brand names. It is also known as brand stretching. Example of this is Crayola. Advantages of brand extension are to improve customer loyalty, renew interest and liking for the brand, expand market coverage, and disadvantages are brand dilution and confuse customers. So, when you decide for a branding strategy, it is important to understand the extent of competition in the market. Your brand should have points of parity and points of difference. And of course, your brands should always deliver value to your target customers.
And lastly, let's discuss customer equity. Customer equity and brand equity is equally important. Customer equity is the sum of all lifetime values of all customers. Lifetime value is affected by revenue and cost of customer acquisition, retention, and cross-selling. We also know it as add-on spending. CRM aims to produce high value of paying customers. Brand equity and customer equity aims to strengthen customer loyalty. They aim to provide and create value by having as many customers as possible that pays. We must remember that both brand and customer equity matter. Remember, there is no brands without a customer and no customer without a brand. Brands serve as bait for retailers and other channel intermediaries, while the customers are the tangible profit engine for brands to monetize value. We hope you learn a lot from our presentation. Thank you.